Hello friends, welcome back to Cosmopolitan Cornbread. My name is Constance. And today's video is going to be part of the Fermented February collaboration put on by my friend Anna over at Fermented Homestead. You can find a list of all of the participating channels in the video description down below. So in my last Fermented February video, I shared how to take dry sourdough starter that you could purchase online, find in a store, or get from a friend, and rehydrate that back into a lively, active, and ready to use sourdough starter. I take you through the entire process step by step, showing you exactly how to do that. So here you can see my sourdough starter that I have been maintaining, and I need to go ahead and remove a portion of it that is called the discard so that I can make room to feed the sourdough starter in the jar. Now you never want the discard to go to waste whenever you can help it, and so there's tons of sourdough discard recipes out there, including the one that I'm going to make today. So when I'm removing my discard, I removed 1 cup and I put it into that mixing bowl that you can see there. I replaced that with 1 cup of unbleached all-purpose flour and 2/3 cup of water. I mix that all together, and then I'll just let that sit there on my counter and feed it every day. If I were wanting to pause my sourdough, I would simply go ahead and feed it, close up the jar, and immediately put it in the refrigerator, and then I would do this feeding process about once a week instead of every day. So the recipe that I'm making today is a super rich and moist sourdough cornbread. So to my 1 cup of sourdough discard, which is again the discarded sourdough starter, we're going to add 1 cup of milk, 1 cup of all-purpose flour, and 1 cup of cornmeal. I'm just going to take my whisk here and I'm going to mix this all together until it is nice and combined. I'm going to cover my bowl here with a plate, let it sit on the counter for 8 to 24 hours. Generally, I just let it sit overnight, and then tomorrow we'll make the cornbread. If you are brand new here, first of all, I just want to say welcome. Here at Cosmopolitan Cornbread, I share videos of my life. Over on my website, cosmopolitancornbread.com, there are over 800 recipes and articles, and you'll find all sorts of things like that here on my channel, as well as weekly scripture readings, Bible studies, homesteading, food preservation, and home cooking. So the next day I'm going to start off by preheating my oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit, and then I'm going to butter an 8-inch cast iron skillet. This is what I save my butter wrappers for. waste not, want not. So to get started making the cornbread today, I'm going to beat 2 eggs in a small bowl. I'm going to pour in 1/4 cup of real maple syrup. You could also use honey if you wanted to. And check out that fed cornbread starter. You can see how fluffy it got overnight. To my egg mixture, I'm going to add in a teaspoon of fine sea salt. I'm using Redmond real salt as usual. Next, we're going to add in some baking powder. I'm going to add in 2 teaspoons of that. And I'm going to add in 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda. I'm just going to whisk these all together until they're nice and smooth. And then we're going to add that to the sourdough cornmeal mixture. And just stir it all together. This batter is incredibly airy and fluffy. Finally, we're going to add in 1 stick or 1/2 cup of melted unsalted butter and stir that all together. Pour that into the prepared skillet. If you don't have an 8-inch cast iron skillet, you can also use a cake pan. And into the oven for 35 to 40 minutes. When the timer goes off, we'll test it with a wooden skewer or toothpick. And there you go. Incredibly moist sourdough cornbread. Now before you cut into this, you do want to allow it to cool completely. If you try to remove the cornbread from the pan before it is fully cooled, it's going to be very delicate and want to fall apart. So it's best to let this cornbread cool completely to room temperature before cutting into it. Later today, you'll find a printable version of this recipe on my website, cosmopolitancornbread.com. Be sure to check out all of the participating channels, which you can find in the video description down below. All through the month of February, there have been videos involving fermenting foods, from sourdough to sauerkraut and beyond. Thanks for joining me here at the homestead, friends. Lord willing, I'll see you all next time.